All right, we're running out of time, but we have one more question. I welcome MEP Eva Kaili with us. She's from the S&D Group, EIF Steering Committee member, member of ITRE, and chair of STOA. Welcome, Eva. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for organizing, Maria, and my colleague here, and also Commissioner. You talked about building role models. So as a role model yourself, I think the initiatives you have taken, they are really contributing into reducing this gender gap also, not just women in tech, but also supporting panels where women will be there. And I have the feeling that your work has managed to change the environment. I am invited in conferences where women are more than men usually, and it's not women conferences. So I think this is the impact that these efforts have. And it's good that we recognize that, because we have to keep trying. And if I may, since you mentioned very interesting initiatives, and I have been working, as you know, with science and innovation and your support several years now, I've seen the incredible success of EIC, especially with the target of including startups and companies that are women-led, or at least they have women in the board. I saw the numbers. I was impressed. Before you even mentioned them, I was actually trying to find good examples for what Europe succeeded. So my question would be, if I may, so EIC has managed to do that. I believe we need to maybe to work harder into not just having the gender as a priority, but to make sure that all the companies that, even if they don't need to be funded by Europe, by EIC, they will include women in their boards. And this has not been achieved yet. So if there is something more we can do, we would be happy to contribute to that. I believe it's a matter of the council, but still, if we join forces, I think we can achieve that. So if you have some ideas on how we could support your efforts, then since you talked about the centers of excellence, I understand that they would build on what the digital innovation hubs are doing, but still the digital innovation hubs, at least in Greece, from what I know, maybe several other countries, they delayed a lot. It's been 2 years that they were supposed to be launched, and still we have not seen the build up of these ecosystems that I agree they're very important, and they could be useful as to offer also mentoring for startups and companies. And of course innovation and becoming resilient, the old business models to become more resilient through innovation. So I was wondering if you think that the centers of excellence will have to build up on the digital innovation hubs. If this delay, we could overcome this, and if we could see actually to how this ecosystem could start delivering. And then I will agree with the previous colleagues, the geographic inequalities, we still see those. And also the pandemic has acted as a catalyst. We still see some countries and regions, they are struggling to participate in the need of the pandemic to become more digitalized. There I would like to understand if there is a possibility, since we are developing now digital skills at the European level, to create also content that will be available online, or courses with a certification that could be given to whoever participates and learns coding, for example. Because if we don't have that, then I believe we don't talk about innovation at the extent that we would need. And I think this would be my concerns, how we can basically move faster, and if we could support all your efforts, because we saw already the results. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eva. First, thank you very much for your support on these gender issues. I must say that, yes, we decided together with my team that these rules will be not only applicable to EIC, but in the New Horizon program. Every single institute, research, companies have to have a gender equality plan if they would like to obtain funding from the new program. Believe me, not easy. Some of them use different arguments, but we decided to do it because our wish, it was to send a very strong signal. I'm not sure that all are aware of this novelty, but for us it's clear for the new program, it's one of the main novelties. On the different hubs, you are right. And I must say that here I have a concern because we have the digital innovation hubs, we have ERA hubs, we have Center of Excellence, we'll have the digital education hubs. What I ask my team is to start with a clear mapping. How much hubs will we have, in what region, and what they are doing? Because I was already in different regions where there is 3 or 4 hubs, they are doing the same things, and where there is a lack of something, it's here for many time. And I think that our first step, it will be really to start with a clear mapping, to see what are the strengths, and to think about their specialization. But for me, it's sure that access to training should be everywhere. And I think already that this idea is largely shared. On geographical differences, I must say that, again, here it's up to us to make more efforts. The European Parliament is a great ally on this issue. What I ask my team now with the new calls is really to provide the same information at the same time with the same level of quality of the information and the advices. And I must say that we have an example that is making a difference. You know that when we talk about Horizon 2020, 5.6% are going to EU 13 and the rest for EU 15. But now with the European Green Deal call, and because we insisted to have a lot of webinars, to have concrete advices, how to be a candidate, how to make the project, for the first time, this part of Europe is making 14% of participation. So I think that if for the last 20 years it was possible to go from 4 to 5%, and if now in only a few months it was possible to go to 14%, we should be able to accelerate and to have a different pace. But again, for me, it's really important to ensure the same access to the information, the same access to advices, and to have advices that are practical. And of course, here, some of the countries and the regions, we have to be more present with concrete instruments to support them. And I must say that in Horizon Europe program, with the widening part, we have a strong wish really to increase the capacity of some regions and some member states to be more successful in Horizon Europe. Last point, digital certificate, I want to reassure you. This is an ongoing work. We are working on this together with Commissioner Schmidt. And my wish is really to see a result as soon as possible. At least we are pushing a lot together with my team for that.
I would just like to thank for actually seeing the things in the same way, because I thought I was a bit confused. You know, sometimes we try to create new initiatives in order to solve problems, but then we create a very complicated environment. So this mapping would be extremely useful, and I think also specialization, and also the lack of hubs wherever there is they have not been created yet. But I think to have a strong ecosystem, as you mentioned, that could also play the role of mentoring with innovative tools, the existing startup community and SMEs community would be essential if we need to see and revive this ecosystem in Europe. And also the digital certificate sounds very promising, and I'm sure we will not only we will do it because you're committed, but that it would actually contribute, because I think what we learned with this pandemic is that also women that perhaps have more multiple roles, they manage to enter again, and actually sometimes they took the burden of supporting their families in this pandemic. So I think this could actually enhance their toolbox and their skills. It would be amazing. So thank you so much. That I would be happy to follow up, and it's always very useful to listen to you. And I checked the missions. I knew the 4 missions. I will find out what is the 5th again, because you're always
climate adaptation, smart cities, oceans, and soils.
Okay, it was the soils then. Perfect. So I hope we will manage to meet again, because there's always something new that we have to learn about. And thank you, Maria and Maria, also for hosting this event.
Thank you very much, Eva. If I may, Maria Rosa, because it's an important topic about digital certificate and about the recognition of all these sometimes short experiences and trainings that we have. That's why you know that I propose to have a European framework for micro-credentials. I think that it's really greatly time to use this model, because actually there is 110 million Europeans following different online courses, but there is no recognition, and how to preserve their motivation, how to talk about reskill and upskill. That's absolutely impossible. But I'm really very glad that we are advancing very well, and our intention by the end of the year is to present this to our ministers.
Thank you very much, Eva, for joining us.